What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Steve and this is Tech Teardown. Today in this video, my friend Jason, he's been having issues with his computer. Every time he loads a graphically intensive game like Call of Duty, his computer just locks up and freezes. If he's playing something kind of easy to play like World of Warcraft, his computer is just fine. So what we're going to do is just try and troubleshoot everything and see what the issue is. Our primary focus right now is just cleaning the PC because this thing is absolutely disgusting, covered in dust and liquid stains. So that could play a big role in thermals that could shut down the computer. So that is what we're going to do first. And then if it still locks up, there's no thermal issue, we are also going to check the memory and the power supply. And his CPU temperatures are also very hot. So his friend did give him a new AIO liquid cooler from Cooler Master. This is the Master Liquid 120. And we're gonna put that in here to see if that improves the temperatures at all. It also could be that it needs new thermal paste. The CPU he's rocking in here is the FX 8350, the Bulldozer processor from AMD. Graphics card he has is a GTX 960. It still has the plastic wrap, so that is going to make it a little bit easier when I clean that off. And he does have 16 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM. I do have RAM, GPU, power supply, everything laying around just to, if there is an issue with a piece of hardware, then we can check that and make sure. I'm gonna check chipset drivers, BIOS, all of that stuff as well. Now, because I'm going as far as replacing the CPU cooler and moving the graphics card, because the graphics card, if you see right here, is not in the 16X slot. So I am going to move that back up to the correct slot so the GPU is getting full power and just all the lanes that it can in order to support Call of Duty. Some other thermal properties about the case that are of issue right now is one of the 200 millimeter fans here up at the top is actually pushing air down. So I kind of want to turn that into exhaust. The side panel actually does support one of the 200 millimeter fans. I might even move it there. I'm going to test and see which is going to be the best option for thermals. Since I'm doing all of this and the computer is so filthy, what I thought I would do is just disassemble the entire computer completely, take out every single part, and clean them up individually. I'm probably going to empty an entire bottle of alcohol trying to clean this thing up. It has liquid stains, dust bunnies, spider webs everywhere. So we're going to try and do a thorough cleaning of this, possibly repaste the graphics card. The graphics card temperatures seemed to be fine when I had that loading in. The CPU temperatures were absolutely terrible, so that could use a better CPU thermal paste job. But we are going to be putting in that liquid cooler as well, so that will definitely improve the temperatures anyway. So we're going to go ahead and switch over. I'm going to take apart this whole computer, clean up all the parts. Now, because this computer is so disgusting, I do have a CompuCleaner 2.0. This is an amazing thing, and it's great to replace just having to buy compressed air cans all the time. For this, it costs about $50 on Amazon. I'll leave links in the description if you want to purchase this. It does an amazing job, great thing, so you don't have to waste cans of air all the time. However, because this is so messy, I'm probably going to take this outside and give it the leaf blower treatment instead of using this. So first job is to go ahead and take apart everything, and I'll set it aside, and then I'll take everything outside and give it a nice thorough cleaning and just get everything blown out, all the dust and the spider webs get out of this case. Then we'll scrub it down with some alcohol. And then once all of that's done, we'll see if any of that has helped fix the issues that he's having. If not, then we'll start weeding out the RAM, the power supply, everything else. So let's get started. All right, so I did find the issue here for the CPU temperatures. The thermal paste was just like rock hard, wasn't transferring heat as efficiently as it was. So I'm definitely going to need to re-thermal paste it. Well, that was a given since I had to remove it, but it's just terrible. So I'm going to give that a good cleaning, clean up this board, all the dust on the board, that's not good. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then also get prepared to put the liquid cooler on it. All right, guys, so I have finished cleaning up this computer. So it ended up being just the CPU thermals were just really bad. The thermal paste was like concrete when I took it apart. So that was definitely the issue, and the water cooler is definitely helping. As you can see, the CPU is running at 25 degrees Celsius right now. I never took apart the GPU to repaste that. Right now it's running at 70 degrees Celsius, which is fine. It probably could use a new thermal paste job on the GPU. Because it's not so terrible right now, I'm just going to leave it as is just to avoid any complications if something were to go wrong. So we'll wait until it gets really bad before we repaste the GPU. I think it's fine right now at 70 degrees. So also, I did have to mod this case a little bit in order to support the 120 millimeter radiator. So I did have to drill into this, the top of the case for the brackets for the 200 millimeter fans in order to get the radiator screws here, in order for them to fit and get this all sorted through and get it working. So there was a little bit of modding. The radiator would not fit here where a normal 120 millimeter fan would go. It just was not wide enough or long enough. So I did have to make some type of adjustments in order to get that to fit. So since it was just a thermal paste issue that was pretty simple, I did take apart the entire computer and clean everything up. That might have also helped out a lot too. As you can see, this had like hair just like strewn into the fins, so it's still pretty dirty because I didn't bother cleaning it. Like right there, that's really bad. This thing hasn't been cleaned out in about 6 months, so definitely, if you have pets, you need to be blowing out your computer once a week is like ideal, but at least once a month. Even that's pushing it. I clean out my computer once a week because I have 2 dogs and hair and dust is everywhere. So you definitely need to be cleaning out your computer very often when you have pets. Even when you don't have pets, if you live in a house that just draws a lot of dust, electronics do that. So you definitely want to be cleaning it out a lot. And that's where this CompuCleaner 2.0 comes in handy. It's about 50 bucks on Amazon. Jay's 2 Cents recommended it a long time ago in one of his videos, and I purchased it right away because I don't like purchasing compressed air all the time. Knowing how often that I have to clean out my computer, that thing has been a godsend, and I do highly recommend that to anybody. So since it was just a thermal issue, there's if it wasn't just that, my next steps would have been testing the RAM. I would have tried one stick, tried different DIMM slots, and then if that didn't fix it, I would move on and put in some DIMMs that I knew were working. I have some DDR3 laying around. Obviously, that's not going to be the best case for everyone at home because they don't have just random parts laying around in their office like I do. If that didn't fix the issue, I have another power supply laying around. I would have tested that, and then I also would have tested a different graphics card. And then at that point, I would have just, after cleaning it, repasting the CPU, if none of that worked, then I would have just said it was probably the motherboard, in which case he would have to obtain a new one, or he would have to start upgrading his PC, get a new processor and new motherboard, which I would love for him to do. 8350 is not the greatest CPU anymore. I mean, it's holding its own right now with playing Call of Duty, but Call of Duty is more graphically intensive game than a CPU intensive game, which is why the CPU is only at about 25 degrees Celsius right now. So definitely would love to have him get an upgrade, but it's not in the cards right now. He is a student. He's a former veteran, Navy veteran. I did try to get him a hookup with a couple companies, but no one really responded. So right now he's going to have to deal with what he has, which it's fine. The the 960 and the 8350, they're holding its own in the games that he plays. He only plays World of Warcraft, and he plays this. This is probably like the most graphically intensive game that he plays. He doesn't really need to upgrade right now, but he does want to be able to play Cyberpunk, which I think at that point he will need to upgrade once Cyberpunk comes out if he wants to play that, because that game is going to destroy his system. I can always run Witcher 3 on here and see, and that will give us a decent idea how Cyberpunk will run, but I think Cyberpunk will be a little bit more demanding than Witcher 3 ever was. But I think that is it. If you have any other questions about the troubleshooting process, if you're having issues with your computer, let me know down in the comments. I can try and walk you through some troubleshooting steps. I'm always here to help. I'm here almost to the 1,000 subscriber mark, so make sure that you hit that subscribe button and the bell so you don't miss any of my future uploads. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you in the next video.